Hello, myself Sunil Ramkrishna. Here basically we are discussing another topic that is city creation. City creation basically we are discussing another topic that is future creation. In this basically we are discussing about one topic that is India account, SBI account, Amazon account, and after 2 days basically the big earthquake is going to happen in India. So that topic is basically we are discussing. So one person basically from satellite asked the question, "Have you got the job?" Basically Sunil. Then Sunil Larnaik told that no, basically still basically not got the job. So one of the person basically that was one group basically who are connected with Sri Ram group and Hanuman group basically. They told that basically भाई ये तो नया नाटक है to getting the job basically. So what that is Hindu group basically. Up to that level the Hindu caste basically has reached. So one person basically searching job, they are feeling that this is basically new style of searching the job. But the one person basically is trying to get the job, and this group basically are telling that basically this is the new style. So one day basically that Sunil Arnair basically will be dying, and they will be telling that भाई ये तो नाटक कर रहा है. So that is Hindu caste. That's basically the caste basically which is going to end from this world basically. That somebody has predicted if this group basically are like this in Earth planet, then how their energy is going to convert to universe basically. So instead of basically connecting that energy in universe, we will finish that caste only basically in finish with caste in India only. Sorry, in world only basically. So one person basically searching job basically, they are telling that basically it's a natak basically. So that is Hindu culture basically. So that is the Hindu real culture basically of the Hindu real culture. That is the real culture of Hindu. And this is fact basically. If you want to check, you can check this. If you want to check, check it. So again back to power basically. One person told that Bill Gates basically was Hindu basically, and he might have converted to Christian basically, or basically some other caste basically. Then he told that how basically that is possible. Yeah, that is not possible. That means you want to say that his father basically was from India basically. That how that is possible? That is not possible. Yeah. One of the person told that you want to say that basically the Microsoft is created up to this level basically you are told correct that Microsoft is going to create going to get the power ideas from this lava data, and like this basically the Microsoft has created, and that lava group has created the power supply of Microsoft, and that might be some companies only basically. That might be one company, so it might be some ONGC, it might be some Reliance. In Reliance basically, Reliance might also be possible. IPCL is there, so these all are the old companies, so they only basically can do this basically. So it might possible the lava source basically, that is the main data basically, the power data of the Microsoft basically. It might possible that this group basically might be designing in that basically whatever god basically he might be believing. So Microsoft is using, Microsoft product basically is used by Hindus also, Christians also, Muslims also. So he have to take care of all basically. So he might be implementing all god data basically. So that's might possible that different energy group basically might be handling this idea. Different group basically might be handling this idea. So one person told that 2 kilometer of the Canada basically, how they might be are segregating, this separating basically, separation basically of the this much area is of Microsoft, this much area is of uh, SAP, this much area is of the Salesforce. How that is possible basically? Then one person told that that's very difficult here basically to tell. मतलब how basically it is possible? मतलब logically basically that is possible basically. That 2 kilometer area is giving the power supply to 850 crore computers basically in India, and one person is telling that basically we have to switch off this everything basically, and we have to check basically really basically Sunil is telling correct or not. because this is one chain basically. And assume that today world will end. So what is going to happen? That will not happen basically. But then also basically possibilities are there basically. This is basically one chain basically. Because one person is telling that सुनील तो नाटक कर रहा है, he is basically doing नाटक for job basically, that he is Hindu basically, that is Hanuman group and Sri Ram group basically is telling, that is Madhya Pradesh, UP and Bihar group basically are telling that basically ये तो नाटक कर रहा है of searching the job basically. One person basically is trying to get the job and they are telling that he is नाटक कर रहा है basically. So this is not natak basically. This is just taken as an example basically. Today world will end. Now basically what is the thing going to happen? Anything is going to happen. The chain is going to connect from Canada basically, of the 850 crore computers. So one person told that same way the ideas are connected with ideas to ideas. One person basically is getting idea. So his idea basically has came from far basically. That is 1 lakh age people basically. He basically create given the idea like this basically ideas coming from different areas basically. Same way basically, same way the entire creation is also like this basically. The entire creation basically is also like this. That is 850 crore computers. 50 crore computers is connected with one server. That server is connected with another 50 crore computer server. 100 crore computer server. Like this, assume that basically in this India country basically there are 300 servers basically. And these 300 servers are connected with this 850 crore computers. So this 300 server is enough basically, which is going to take entire 800 crore. So switch off basically just this 300 computer is required basically. Rest of computer will automatically get switch off basically. Why? Because this 300 computer is the server basically, and that server is connected with the power company. That is the Canada. So Canada is only giving the power supply to not to 850 crore. They are giving power to that 300 computer only. That is the server basically. So one of the person told that to give 850 crore power basically supply, that is very difficult. But they are not giving the power supply to 850 crore. They are just giving power supply to 300 computers. And that 300 computers basically are giving power supply to 850 crore computers. So one of the person told that that's basically yeah, this is real or wrong basically. This need to check basically. How basically we can check this basically? That is possible to check basically. One of the person basically asked the question, is it possible basically? But practically this is possible basically to switch off the entire 850 crore computers for 1 minute. That is possible. If 1 minute basically the computer will get off, what is the thing basically going to happen? Practically that is impossible. Why? Because world this might be possible when the corona was basically ongoing. That time basically the whole world was down. That was shut down. That time basically if they might have done this, that means basically if the normal person is thinking, so they might have done that also. But they have not done this. That is the Canada land. Basically. They might not have thought up to this level. That Canada land basically is giving the power supply. They might have shut down the 850 crore. But 850 crore computer basically, do you think basically it can be shut down? Because people basically were working from home basically. But there was one concept basically which was created, that was DevOps. The people were working not in server basically, they were working in DevOps. So if by chance 300 crore basically will get shut down, then also DevOps will work basically. So this was planned or not planned basically, that need to check basically. Because DevOps basically came into the picture basically. Just basically just within 12-15 years basically. So 300 server basically will get off. Then also basically there is no issue. Why? because they are working in DevOps basically. So it might possible that 300 server also basically might have shut down basically in this Corona time period. Might be possible, but we can't say 100%. If you want to check basically, then you can check the log file of this 300 server. Basically. But 300 server basically that also basically it's not possible. So power supply company basically who is giving the power supply to 300 crore, they basically can check this. Basically. So, but here the main thing is power supply basically which was given from the Canada land, that was not checked. This was also supposed to check this, but time is over basically now. It's very deep because now basically you can't shut down the 850 crore computers. That time basically you are supposed to do. So then also basically it might possible basically because people basically are working in DevOps. So that might be possible basically. But you have select one time basically in that time basically whole world basically might be working in some other technology or basically serverless data basically or whatever thing basically. But the process basically is happening always now. Banking process, financial process, lots of batch process basically keeps on running. So that's very difficult. Basically. That time also basically it was difficult, but that time also basically the batch process was ongoing, banking process was also ongoing basically. So they might have checked basically how they might have checked that basically is the question also. But they have checked basically that is 100% sure. Basically. They might have checked. After that only basically they have started the war. Basically. They might have checked and they might have got something basically. After that only basically they have started the war. So lots of war basically is ongoing, but India is safe basically. India is not having any type of war basically. In India basically everybody is safe, everybody is having peace life, everybody is basically telling that basically हमको तो मजा है भाई, हमको तो मजा आ रही है. But Sunil Arnar is telling that basically भाई मेरे को तो मजा नहीं आ रही है. But I am basically jobless basically. So I am not getting maja basically. I am not enjoying. People basically are telling we are enjoying the life. But Sunil Arana is telling, no, basically I am not enjoying the life. So one person told that their power supply is up to the level, basically one of the person told that power supply has reached up to the level. So it's very serious problem basically. Because it is connecting only not to the 850 crore computers. It is connecting to human bodies. 300 servers are connected with human body directly. You will not able to believe this. One of the person told that that is not possible, Sunil. Yeah, basically, you want to say that 300 server basically they are directly connected to your body parts basically. That means in India basically there are 190 crore people basically. So you want to say that 300 server basically are connected with 190 body parts, 190 crore body parts, 190 one not 190 basically, 190 crore body parts. That is impossible here. Basically, you are just basically giving ridiculous, basically what to say, basically ridiculous statement, basically fake, basically statement. Basically. That also basically is the word, basically. But one person who is connected with this 300 server, basically, he told that basically that we need to check basically because we have basically checked, but we have doubt some doubt basically we have because until we were checking it basically that time only basically the something basically was happening. So our mind basically got diverted. So we have not checked basically, but now basically we thought that basically we can't ignore a single process basically. We have to write down basically in somewhere basically that basically carbon methodology basically you can say whatever stuff basically is to do and whatever stuff basically has done basically. Agile methodologies also basically can use, but this is the best methodology which you can use. There are many methodologies. Do is there and done task is there. So that we have to do. It might possible that we were doing basically, but the time might basically converted basically. So one person told that mind basically converted. So one other person told that Hindu caste basically is that caste basically which always think that basically ये तो नाटक चल रहा है. One person is searching for job basically they are telling that ये तो नाटक कर रहा है. One day entire Hindu will end basically they will say that भाई हम तो नाटक कर रहे हैं. So you are basically ending the caste basically and you are telling that we are doing natak basically. So that is the definition of Hindu caste. And this is real basically. If you want to check, you must check it basically. So one person told that staying in India basically that's very dangerous basically. Going against Hindu, that is very dangerous. They basically attacks your body basically. They you attacks your body basically. They basically attacks your body basically. Some if you basically go against Hindu caste basically, they attacks your body basically. They basically attacks your body basically. And they basically get return also of that attack. They basically returns of that attack also. So one person told that this is reality about Hindu caste basically. You basically should change the caste. That is the best option basically. And today is Saturday, and that is today is basically my fast. And somebody told that basically you change your caste basically unnecessary. You are wasting your time basically in Sri Ram and Hanuman group basically. One person told that also basically from satellite. From satellite, one person told that you are unnecessary wasting. You basically done 35 years of fasting basically of Hanumanji. What you have got basically. Do this fast in other caste. See basically what are the thing basically you are going to get. And that is fact basically. He has told correctly basically. That is the culture of Hindu basically. There is no value of human basically in Hindu caste. If you are doing fast basically they will say that भाई हम पे एहसान किया है तूने. That basically they will take. If you are searching job basically and you are basically dying for job basically then they will say that भाई तो नाटक कर रहा है. And you will die basically one day and they will say that basically भाई ये नाटक कर रहा है मरा नहीं है. That also Hindu caste will say. That is Hindu caste. That is Hindu caste. So one of the person from satellite told that instead of staying in that caste basically change your caste. Otherwise basically one day you will die and they will say that भाई तो नाटक कर रहा है. That they will say. That is culture of Hindu caste. Today is Hanumanji fast day basically. And that day basically I am telling. And this is fact basically. You have to accept the fact basically. In that basically you will damage anybody's eye, you will damage anybody's head. That is not going to work. You have to accept the fact that you are basically not able to generate the job for Hindus. You have to accept the fact basically. Your group basically is not able to generate the job. So you have to leave the post basically. You have to go from the parliament house basically. And let basically other come. They basically will generate the job. So instead of wasting time, basically you leave that from Parliament House basically. Immediately basically. That is better basically. Instead of wasting your time in Delhi. So that is fact basically about the Hindu. And Hindu basically that is BJP basically. And this is fact about BJP also you can say. Because they are telling that basically. We are Hindu, we are Hindutva. Ye Hindutva basically. This is Hindutva. Modi also basically might be telling here basically. Sunil basically told fact basically. When basically I see everything practically that time basically I got हिंदू तो हिंदू के हाथ में कुछ नहीं है. Hindu basically don't have any control basically in their hand basically. They basically can't give one job to basically one person. Then what kind of basically Hindu caste is? That is also question basically. And that is fact. So one of the person told that where is the power of Hindu? So one person told that that land basically is connected with it. That land is basically generating the power of Hindu. So that land basically is a problem basically. That also is possible basically. And one person told that that land is connected with the satellite. So that satellite is giving problem. Then satellite basically is connected with the planets, galaxies. So where to check basically? How to check basically where is the problem? So one person told that we will try basically Sunil this 850 control 850 because this issue has become very big basically. So we will be doing this implementation that is 850 crore computer will get shut down from India for just for few minutes basically. Let's basically whatever thing basically happens. Let's break the chain basically. Really basically this is correct or not basically because 300 server basically are connected with the 850 crore computers and that 850 that 300 servers basically are connected with that land and that land is connected with the satellites. So you can just imagine each and every land basically are connected with the satellites. Each and every land basically are connected with the satellites. That is very strange, na, basically. The people basically are creating land from Earth planet. Satellite basically is controlling the land. So what this everything basically groups are doing here? Basically? That is question basically. Yeah. Microsoft power basically is generated by one of the chemical group that is a companies. They have basically dumped the lava data in that sand. That is Canada sand basically. And the Canada sand is connected with the satellites. So that's basically not strange basically. One of the person told that ये सब क्या है क्या यार basically. And Sunil Nair basically is telling that then one of the Hindu basically told that ये तो नाटक कर रहा है. Why? Because I went to Mumbai that time also basically they were telling भाई ये तो नाटक कर रहे हैं तो टाइम पास करने के लिए आए हैं. When basically Sunil Nair visited Bangalore that time also few Hindu basically told ये तो नाटक कर रहे हैं. He basically came for time pass. That is Hindu culture basically. Tells that basically he's doing time pass. He's doing time pass. That is culture of Hindu. That is ladies or gents basically both are same basically. In this basically these groups are also there. So one person told that whatever so the people who are basically telling that basically Sunil is doing time pass. So he might be Hindu basically. And some other caste also group basically might join basically. That basically we can't say who is the person. Basically. So one person told that the power supply data basically are getting created from that company basically मतलब कहाँ पे है वो company basically where is that company यार basically who is actually creating SAP power Microsoft power Salesforce power Salesforce power where is that land one of the person told that basically police department basically might be knowing this because they are handling the entire land security basically they are responsible each and every land basically. Then one person with the police basically are doing police are what basically you told basically long before that 93 bomb blast that was planned by Mumbai police commissioner basically. And this is basically a real fact basically about the police department. So they basically are checking basically. Do you know one of the person they क्या check कर रहे हैं यार police लोग? They are checking that basically whatever plan basically they have done, according to that only basically everything is working or not basically. That they are actually checking. In this basically they finish anybody people, they basically damage anybody's eye also basically was attacked. So they basically checks basically up to what level basically they have the control. So they feel that Hindustan उनके बाप का है. They basically sometimes basically gets the feeling basically भाई हिंदुस्तान तो हमारे बाप का ही है. So you can just imagine basically. So one person told that try to understand in the point of police department basically. So that also basically might be correct, because if they are handling the city basically in this way, so that is also basically might be some problem basically. That might be also some problem, because we can't judge basically why basically is that person is wrong basically. You can't say 100% basically why he basically has taken that step basically. Why Sunil R Nair basically told that Hindu is a problematic caste, and why basically he told that changing Hindu basically caste is the best option. So there might be some reason basically. Same way basically police department are also basically are handling the cities like this way. So there also basically might be some problem. There might be some problem basically. So that basically is the stuff. So one of the person told that software industry basically in front of the world basically, that is TCS in India number one. But TCS basically is controlled by which group basically? SAP. Because he is not creating SAP. He is getting the project of SAP. He is not creating Microsoft. He is getting the projects of Microsoft. So these all base companies are handling TCS. And these base companies are handled by that power company, that is a Canadian company. And what is Canada basically? That basically we have already discussed. That 95,000 crore collected money. And he basically got the prime minister post basically. Just a minute. Canada basically is a prime minister or president. Just a minute. It's a prime minister rule basically. But president also might be that. Just a minute. So it's a prime minister rule basically. So one person told that it's a prime minister rule basically. So he got the post of prime minister. Why? He has collected that 90,000 money. But for what purpose? World Trade Center. So that's basically the world basically. The people basically who are sitting at the big level post basically, their task basically you see what they are doing basically. The commissioner of city basically are doing what basically. So this is India basically. And one of the person told that you are basically doing bad level stuff. You are basically unnecessary uploading the fake videos and basically telling that Hindu is that, Hindu is that. But see basically what is the reality basically. So one person told that this is just about one land basically, that is a computer. Like this basically whole world is basically created, yeah, basically. So one person told that the power land basically which are getting the power now basically, there people basically are staying. That is the one question. People might not be staying according to the current creation, which is done basically by the world creator. So like this computer power supply is there, like this electronic power supply basically are there, like this human body power supply basically are there. So like this human needs power supply are there. So that whole world basically is connected with set of power supply. So their chain basically, their matrix basically has connected basically to certain matrix, which is collected here basically. Canada is only responsible for computer data basically, but there are many stuff basically other than computers also, which are higher than the computers. So one of the person told that this is the fact basically, that power supply basically. So TCS is also basically controlled by, but TCS basically have the full power. He can destroy anyone's careers. He basically can do anything. He basically can create anyone's career. So he have the full power. His people basically has got the full power. So they can do anything. They basically can break anyone's head. They basically can give heart attack to anyone. They can do anyone. They can break anyone's eye. And this is fact. Basically. This is fact. So one of the person told that this is fact. Yeah, basically. We can't basically ignore Sunila Nair basically, which he is telling basically. Which basically is telling we can't ignore Sunila Nair. We can't ignore Sunila Nair. So one person told basically this power supply which is basically connected basically and they are basically getting the power supply. How they everything basically might be getting maintained here basically. It's not very dangerous stuff basically. The power supply company that is basically in front of the world basically that everybody knows. Power supply basically are in front of the world. But real power coming is from where? ONGC, Reliance, IPCL, IOC. These all group basically are giving the real power supply. This power company basically has just NGVCL, BCE, then Karnataka Power Supply, Mumbai Power Supply, Tata Powerhouse. This group are just kept as a front basically. But in real data basically who is getting, who is giving? ONGC, IPCL, Reliance. This all group basically are. They are also basically contributing. They are also basically percentage wise contributing. But major basically is this group that we have discussed. And this is fact basically. So one person told that how basically the matrix might be getting handled here. Basically. This is one matrix actually. This is one matrix. The entire world power supply basically. That is one matrix now. So that matrix, one of the person told that that entire matrix and basically that entire power basically converted into one fruit basically. That is basically one human need basically. So he told that basically apple you can see. Yes, basically that is the entire power supply. If you eat that apple, you will get the entire world power supply data in your body. That means you will connect to each and every ideas in this world basically. Total ideas basically which are listed basically in this world, you will connect to that ideas basically. So that was strange basically. Yeah, basically. One person told that that is possible. Yeah, basically this is just story basically. This everything basically seems to be in story only basically that is good. But in real life basically it's correct. If I will say that basically one apple basically created from that entire power supply, assume that basically 3 lakh power, 3 lakh land basically is there, which is giving the power supply to whole world. From that 3 lakh power supply, basically you have created one apple. So anybody will believe it this basically. This seems to be in story basically, but this is real. Lots of things basically you will see in this video basically, which basically you never have basically heard. So you have heard about this apple. So one person told that who basically eats that apple. Few people says that scientists basically because they have to think up to the level basically because their foods are basically totally different. Then basically one of the person told that the businessman basically because they can purchase anything basically from money. Few people told that prime minister, presidents basically because they have to think up to the level basically. Few people says that doctors basically are there. They basically also have to think up to the level. They eat that type of apple. So that apple cost might be more than crore basically. So normal people basically can't afford that one simple apple. So that is also stuff basically. That is also one of the things basically. So one of the person that is also one of the things. And that is fact. So one of the person told that we want to check the entire world power supply. So you are not going to there each and every land basically. You are going to check. You just need one apple, and that apple basically had by one person. You just need to check that person's body basically. That's all basically. That's all stuff basically has done. This connects to what? 1 lakh human clone basically created instead of 100 crore trees. And in future basically trees will get damaged. And that is very dangerous also. Because you have taken the risk basically. And risk are pass and fail both way. But one day you have to take the control also in universe. That is also one of the person basically told. Because what each and every stuff basically you are doing in this world, that is done by satellite groups. They have done this long before and they have passed the ideas that you do now this stuff basically. So you can just able to imagine basically. Because you can't ignore a single idea basically, which is getting in your brain basically. You have to write down somewhere in book basically. That basically somebody has told me long before basically. And that is fact basically. That is fact about the ideas. That is fact about the ideas basically. You can't ignore a single ideas and you can't ignore a single video basically. One person basically is displaying something in front of you. He's telling. So he might have got that idea basically. In that basically he's doing process. And that is fact. So process basically keeps on going. One person basically is searching for job. People basically are telling, "अरे ये तो भाई नाटक कर रहे हैं यार." Basically he's doing time pass. When basically Sunil Narnar basically went to Bangalore for job, Bangalore people told that, "भाई ये तो नाटक करनी है." That means I am basically came for the natak. Basically. I basically came, basically went there for time pass. Basically. One group basically told that also. ये तो time pass करनी है. That is culture of Hindus, and this was told by Hindu group basically. So other group basically might be telling that basically different thing, but that was told by Hindu groups only. So Hindu groups are only basically creating problem to you. One person, satellite person basically told that also. Hindus are only basically creating problem. So searching job basically that is a time pass basically. People are telling that बे ये तो टाइम पास कर रहा है ये तो नाटक कर रहा है so here basically again back to that 850 crore computers. So one person told that this is about 850 crore computers, but like this you told that basically there are 3 lakh power supply basically actually 3 lakh power supply basically are there, 3 lakh power supply basically are there. So what about that basically? On is there and off is also there. So what about that? Basically, one of the satellite person basically told that basically. Should I do something basically there? One of the satellite person also told that basically. Because I am basically seeing this video basically since many time basically. Sunil Arna telling is that basically I am not getting job, I am not getting job, I am searching job basically. I am seeing this, I am fed up this basically. So I told one of the satellite person told us, should I do something basically in this power supply basically data? That also basically one of the satellite person told. Should be something means that basically the satellite group basically told that something basically. So what is that something basically? I also don't know basically what was that something. So here basically the power supply company only have to handle 300 computers. That's all basically. 300 crore is 300 not crore 300 computers. 300 computers are servers and which are handled, which is handling that 850 crore computers. So each computer in this world basically that are connected with one server basically. And that server basically is connected with the physical location. So India's 850 crore basically computer might be connected with one server, 300 server, and that 300 server basically might be located at some location basically. And that might be one of the location is Canada also. One of the location is Canada also. That is 100% sure. And one of the location might be India also. Why? Because Canada and America basically both are partner. Because World Trade Center basically which was hit in that police department also basically was involved. If you should check everything basically, whether this is correct or not basically. I basically read this. One of the person told me how you got this. Then basically I if when basically I read one blog basically in one of the website basically they have told something basically. They have told one story basically. From that story basically I judged that basically. But you should basically are not supposed to believe blindly. You should check basically that 95,000 crore basically the person who collected the money basically 96,000 crore yeah basically it's a big amount basically and one person basically searching for job and basically people basically are doing 90,000 crore. That means they are basically collecting 90,000 crore to hit World Trade Center basically. For that basically they have money. 95,000 crore is a huge amount basically. It's not a huge basically it's a big amount basically. It's not a 96,000 crore. 1 crore, 2 crore, 3 crore, 5 crore. Like this 96,000 crore. So you can just imagine basically how the market is ongoing and how basically the India is connected. Because India is telling that basically our data is connected with the Canada basically. So India is also equivalent involved with. That is basically the partners. That is basically called as a bhagidari partnership firm basically. 95,000 crore का partnership. So like this, basically, they are ruling the world basically, and they are creating problem to unnecessary people basically, who basically are innocent, who are basically the Aam Aadmi Party. They are basically getting in trouble, basically. And they are basically creating lesson also. See, basically, we have done what with that particular person, and in this, basically, the main thing is Supreme Court, High Court also basically supports this group. Why? Because there also basically their people basically are there. So now basically, what to do basically? So one person from satellite told that basically what is the solution of this? Entire creation basically is problem. One of the person told that what is the solution of this? Then if the problem basically occurs, there should be one solution. Then one person told that yes, basically solution must be there. Basically. Solution must be there. So one person basically is searching job and few group basically are telling, अबे ये तो time pass कर रहा है, ये तो time pass कर रहा है. And do you know basically which kind of people basically say? The colleges vice president basically. There are basically many students vice president basically. They basically tells this type of word basically. भाई ये तो time pass कर रहा है. So one person basically searching job and he is doing time pass. Basically. So that is the word basically from the people basically. That basically connects to culture only basically. That behavior culture basically. How they basically got birth, their entire environment basically. Everything basically comes here. So one person will die basically. Then they will say that अरे तो नाटक कर रहा है. That means that person basically died. Then also basically they will tell. भाई ये तो नाटक कर रहा है. Then world will, the universe group will say basically. भाई ये तो सब नाटक कर रहे हैं. The people will be dying and universe group will say that भाई ये तो सब तो नाटक कर. When entire power supply will get off basically. That is 3 lakh basically. But that will basically mostly will never happen. Why? Because there are many tasks basically which universe group are basically doing. So they will never do that basically. But one of the satellite person told that also that I will do something basically in these 850 crore computers. And one person told that these 850 crore computers are basically connected with the whole world. So that connects to 8 lakh 50,000 crore computers. So he told that basically should I do something basically with 8 lakh 50 crore computers? World computer basically. World basically is having 8 lakh 50,000 crore computers. But at a time basically, one of the person told that is it possible that basically in India basically 850 crore computers are there, 300 servers basically are there. All computers basically can be on at one time basically. Is it possible? That is not. If you want to check basically you can check it out. But that is one of the metrics actually. That will happen one day and that matrix basically is going to generate one day, but that is not possible to check with how you can check basically. Yeah? 850 crore computers basically will get on basically at one time basically. That is the union of India basically. One person will tell that also, union of India computer, and that is one matrix also, and that is negative and positive both sides also. One of the person told that Hyderabad group basically don't like Bangalore group says that basically we don't like Mumbai is telling that basically we don't like Gujarat. Gujarat is telling that basically we don't like Chennai. Chennai is telling that basically we don't like Kerala. That like this basically the entire stuff basically are connected of India basically. Like this basically the entire stuff basically are connected with the India. So this is also power supply basically. So one person told that in this world basically there are 3 lakh power supply. 3 lakh power supply. Your mobile basically is on. See basically this is on. Mobile is on. How basically that is on? Your basically specs is behaving like a specs. It is not getting melt basically. Your pen is behaving like a pen. It is not getting melt. Melt means you can pickle gaya basically. That is not getting melt basically. Why? Because of that power supply. That is 3 lakh land basically. Who is connected with the whole world basically. This pen is why basically it's like behaving like pen. Why basically specs is behaving like specs basically. Because here basically the power supply are getting basically. If that power supply will get off, this will become melt basically. So that is world basically. That is basically the melt. So one of the person told that That is the world also. That is the world also. So that is also basically one of the world basically you can say. This speaker basically you can see. This speaker is behaving like a speaker basically. Why? Because power supply basically is connected. If this will stop, that means the power supply basically is having some problem. Basically. That because each speaker basically are also connected with one computer basically. You can't believe it basically. You can't believe this basically. Up to that level, basically people have taken the control. You can't believe that basically. That mobile is also connected with one computer. So I think that basically in India, basically there are around 100 crore of mobiles. That 100 crore mobiles basically are connected with 100 computers. One computer is having 1 crore computer, 1 crore mobile basically control. So one control, 1 crore mobile basically are controlled by one server basically. They can do anything basically from that computer. So one of the person told them that's very strange here. Basically, we know that up to this level, but power supply basically that was new basically. The specs will get melt, the pen will get melt. That was new basically. That was new for us. That was new basically for us also. But we never heard about this everything basically. That this type of activities also basically can happen basically. But that basically never happens basically. But then also basically possibilities are there. Why? Because each and every power supply, na basically 3 lakh power supply, their matrix basically is generating up to that level basically. It will not convert to melt. Then that is handled by set of people basically. Set of people basically are handling that 3 lakh power supply. Their brain basically are handling that power supply. 3 lakh metrics basically are there in this environment. But they will never basically do the bad activity. Why? Because they are basically peace group. They are from peace group basically. If you will slap them basically, they will say that basically slap here also. That group basically they are. So you can't imagine basically what are the things basically going to happen. So one of the person told that that is fact basically. So one of the person, do you have the matrix of this 3 lakh power supply data basically? That is basically 3 lakh land basically. So one person told that that is the nuclear power plant basically is having that data. But which is that one nuclear plant basically who is having that data basically? But in India basically we will say, where is that power, nuclear power company? Where is that nuclear power company basically? Who is handling the India land basically? Who is handling, who is telling that basically we will not allow this specs to melt basically. We will not allow this pen to melt. We will not allow this mobile to melt. Where is that nuclear power company? Few people says that that is in Chennai. But that is in front of the world, na, basically. And whatever in front of the world, that is wrong. That we know everything basically after this watching videos. Watching this video basically, we know everything. That whatever in front of the world that are wrong basically. So that is not Chennai. Lots of people say that it's Tamil Nadu, but that's not basically. So there might be some other place basically. And it might possible that few land basically in India is not listed in map also. So that is possibilities are also there. So that possibilities are also there. So one of the person told that yeah, this was something dangerous thing basically. So this basically video that chip group basically who are basically creating the chip, he should 100% watch this video. Then he will basically might be thinking, yeah, basically we know basically this everything, but that basically you told them basically that melt that basically we need to check basically. Because in that melt basically we will create something our, and that creation basically will create problem to, it might not be basically, but then also basically possibilities are there basically. So he will be getting, he will basically get into responsible person basically, that this melt basically happened due to that creation basically which was created. So each creation basically it's very dangerous. So you have to basically very clearly that this is your creation and this is the boundary of your creation, that you have to display basically in front of the world basically. You have to display everything basically in front of the world basically. That is the basically best solution basically. Because public basically are court and they only basically decide. They only basically decide. So that is also basically there. So the melt basically which you told us Sunil basically, that basically we will basically we might be connecting to that group basically who's actually the doing the formula of this 3 lakh land power supply. That is the nuclear power company group only basically. That basically we need to connect to that nuclear power company group basically, who are into this basically, who are basically doing the formulas, who are basically not allowing to each and every item to melt. And this is melt, other side is also basically there. Lots of basically possibilities are there. Earthquake is not happening. Why? Because that 3 lakh land basically power supply is given up to that level basically, that it will never get earthquake basically. So you can just imagine basically up to what level the stuff basically are connected. So one of the person told that this is the world basically, and which is already created. Now basically you can't do anything. So one of the person told that whatever thing you create basically in this world, that has to be created very carefully. For that basically you have to study the existing creation basically, existing environment basically, existing culture basically. That 850 crore computers basically are connected with 300, and this 300 server basically are connected with that power supply of Canada. But we have the data basically, but that 300 crore computer, sorry, 300 computers basically, that basically is your secret basically, so you will never going to display. But then also basically we have to take care of the 300 server also. So we should know that basically 300 server is basically there in that location. Detail basically is not possible, but then also you should know basically, but because you are creating the chip basically. So one of the person told that this basically need to check here basically 3 lakh power supply across the world. In this basically the Canada land is one land basically, who is giving the power supply to 850 crore computers that are 300 server basically. So in detail basically, in next video basically we are going to see a little bit more about this topic.